Elon Musk shared that, and they got 20.5 million impressions on X alone. Basically, hyper focus of like Mega now, like is becoming a thing. Like make Europe great again. I think we kind of lacking in the UK, like prominent voices that don't capitulate to the media. So I work for a media outlet called Vox Populi, which is Latin for Voice of the People, and we are an overtly pro-Western media company. So we wouldn't necessarily call ourselves news. We don't hide the fact that we're pro-West, and our agenda is that, well, we believe there's a story in every human. And I want to make the connection so that news that's happening in any of the countries in the West is relevant to everybody else. Because the globalist agenda is pushing against us. And even something that happens in like a little village in Wales, like a migrant hotel, would actually have relevancy to somebody living like in America or even in like Italy, etc. So I want to join the dots between people and uniting basically like a pen Western civilizational news media outlet, essentially. So I've joined them in about June last year. I did a bit of consultancy work for them before that for a few weeks. So I joined them for just under a year. So I'm quite happy to have grown some of the channels. Like they were still very small. We were essentially a startup, but yeah.
I was part of a video you made. I think it was end of last year. Harvey from Students Against Tyranny. Are you aware of Harvey?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. James Harvey. Yeah.
Yeah. J. James Harvey. He did a documentary on the grooming gangs in Oldham, and invited me to come along. So he did a half-hour interview with me. That should be the documentary. He's released my section of it already. Talking about the work I've been doing over 2 decades on that subject. And they're the stories we need to get out. And that's why we need independent media to get those stories out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because another one of the biggest some of the content that got the greatest views from us, surprisingly, was one of the clips that I made from the Rotham Inquiry 2014. Elon Musk shared that, and they got 20.5 million impressions on X alone, and that was like, wow. So I'm quite glad to be part of spreading what's happening to outside the UK, which is exactly what I was saying. Our agenda is to push news that is relevant to other people. I mean, if it's not for for everybody talking about it or Tommy talking about it as well, then the people in America would know about these things that's happening in the UK. So they're now Americans because they're so pro freedom, especially they are, especially the right wing side of it, obviously not the Democrat side of things. They are basically hyper focused on like Mega now, like is becoming a thing, like make Europe great again. So I think there's definitely room for collaboration between all the various countries. You can call it like international nationalists nationalism, but through cooperation rather than centralization of power.
Yeah, and we have this in wars. And in the Second World War, that's why we had the Allies, different countries joining up. And even though this is a war, but it's a different type of war, we need to be joining up and we need to be speaking to people like us in different countries so we can band together, because we will be stronger together. And that's what the left has done in the last 50 years. If they've consolidated the left wing view of everything in all the parliaments, in all the assemblies across Europe and the Western world. And that's why we're living in a semi-socialist state, is because that's what they did. And we need to be doing the same and pushing back together. And America is showing the way, and parts of Europe now are beginning to show the way. The UK is just behind the curve on all of this.
Trump has shown us a way that the not capitulating to the media can work, because people are fed up with the media just as much as they're fed up with the left-wing ideology. So they have basically, he's broken the curse of having to pander to the media. So Trump leads by, so when Trump was on X, or formerly Twitter, everybody followed him on Twitter, and then he went to Truth Social. All the journalists have to follow him to Truth Social to get what he wants to say. So he leads, he doesn't follow. He paved the way, and he doesn't have to capitulate to anybody. And so that's why another thing is Elon Musk is incredible at that, is because how do you bribe the richest man on the planet? You can't. He has FU money. He doesn't have to care. So he doesn't have to care about any. He doesn't have to care about that anymore. Then he can focus on what he thinks is righteous. And I think we kind of lacking in the UK, like prominent voices that don't capitulate to the media. I mean, that's something that we need, because like you look at Bukele, you look at Melee, they're like, he's holding a chainsaw. God, we got to get rid of all of these, and he doesn't care what the media is smearing him, or the communist like media is smearing him about. They don't care, but we still caring. So that is a problem. And but we got Starmer in power, which is also a problem because we got such a draconian speech laws in this country. I mean, we got more people being arrested than Russia on speaking online over legislation that were brought in before social media even existed. So yeah, we have a problem. Which is why I think the great repeal, repealing all of the legislations that were brought in since Blair, since the 90s, was probably a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have, we have a real shortage of leaders. We have a real shortage of bravery in this country. I rarely see bravery and courage of anyone. All I see is people keeping their heads down, hoping not to get into trouble. And this country never used to be like that. This country used to be a brave country. We were a lot better than we are today. We've just turned into inferior versions of the men that went before, and something needs to change. I think change is coming. And then you talk about Elon Musk. I didn't realize at the time how important it was that Elon Musk bought Twitter. I knew it'd be good, and I knew we'd get some free speech, and he brought me back. I'd been banned for a year or two. I got kicked off with no warning. He brought me back, but I didn't realize until about a year and a half ago how much that him buying Twitter and allowing us to talk online changed everything. It really did. I didn't know how big that deal was going to be.
Not only that, though, it also paved the way for all the other social media companies to slightly loosen it up. I remember back in 2019. So basically, when I first started being political aware, I was like, "Oh, what is all these street protests about?" So I went out on Facebook and just used my phone and recorded a lot of like street protests, like from Tommy Robinson, etc. But in 2019, when Tommy himself was banned from Facebook, I was subsequently banned for about 9 months of the whole year for content that weren't violation of the terms of service. At the time when I posted them, I was retroactively banned from it. But now it seems like Zuckerberg has since started doing a bit of jiu-jitsu, getting a bit of testosterone. He's firing all the fact checkers, and now I see loads of people. I still don't dare do it because my account is cursed. Like I've got loads of restrictions on it. When I even do a little bit edgy, I'll just get hit. I see a lot of people are posting Tommy Robinson. They're not getting any restrictions on their accounts anymore, which used to be a violation. So I think it's loosening up a bit now.
And I think a lot of that was down to Trump winning the election.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, even before he won the election, Zuckerberg was in an interview saying how much he admired Trump for standing up even though he was getting shot. I don't know whether you remember that. Yeah, so there's definitely a correlation there. That's why I say like the defiance that he has shown without any like capitulation inspire loyalty and inspire admiration, and that's what we lack in the UK.